So, good evening, everybody. Hi, Laurie. Hi, Oppa. Hi, Hadi. Good evening, Renyard. Good evening, Oksana. Good evening, Vitali. Good evening, Valentine. Good evening, Patricia. Good evening, Count Beauty. Good evening, Maha. It's great to be back with you all again. So, Sunday evening again, or it is at least here. Hello, Eve, as well. Have I gone through everyone? I think so. Okay, we were doing this article about what's going to be left of cities, how are cities going to fossilize. Good evening, Pavla, and good evening, Paula, and good evening, Abtug. Hi there, Abtug from Turkey. Great to have you. Okay, as I said, we've been doing this article about what's going to be left in of cities in the future, what fossil they're going to leave. Good evening, Maniska. And the last paragraph we did last time, location matters in determining the kind of fossil a city will leave. In geological terms, land is never static, either climbing or sinking on a tectonic elevator. So, good evening, Fulern, and good evening, Maria Lazard as well. Great to have you. I guess it's Maria Lazard. Okay, so we will continue with this. I've got to get that just right, otherwise I'm not going to be able to see properly. That's it. Okay, so the idea is, I think almost all of you know, is you've got to guess the right word that fits in the gap, but well, they're as hard as I can make them, but you're normally pretty accurate with these. Okay, so let's start. A city like Manchester in the UK, which is situated on ground still rising after the last ice age, will erode entirely over time, washing a trail, route, rail, road, lane of brick, concrete and plastic particles out into the Irish Sea. So we've got lane for Count Beauty, trail for Oppa, trail for Learn, trail for Vitali, trail for Patricia, okay, and trail for Oksana. This is pretty good. Okay, this one seems to be quite easy for you. Okay, let's see. In the fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel, they leave a wad of breadcrumbs. I misread your name before. It's Yeva, not Eve. So, trail for Yeva, trail for Renyard, for Hadi, Valentine goes lane, Paula goes trail, Maria Lazard goes for trail, and so does Laurie. And trail for Sveta as well. So let's see. A road. A road is to travel on. Call me a trailblazer, rail electric razor. Okay, good evening, Leffy. And you go for a trailblazer, and Maha goes for lane. So it's not a road you travel on, and a rail is what a train travels on. A route is something that you follow. A trail of breadcrumbs, exactly, Patricia. That's what there was in Hansel and Gretel. And a lane, normally either a lane is a very small way going from one place to another, but a lane is like a route. Or if you've got a motorway, it's got various different lanes. Yeah, and it's not that. It's a trail. Because notice also, let's see, a trail, you could follow a trail, yeah, or you could trail someone, you could walk after them. But to trail means to drag behind. So as the water moves away, then it trails, it pulls behind it. Trade lanes, I quite like that. So to trail is to drag behind you. Trade lanes in the ocean, that's very good, Renyard, and Penny Lane as well. Okay, it's wonderful to have you all. That was a very good start. So, but many of no, I've got to wait for you to be able to see it yet. Okay, so a trail. Yeah, a trail is like a line of things very often that goes behind you to do something en route. Yeah, while you were traveling, in the wake of. Yeah, a trail is left in the wake of something. The, the animal left a trail through the long grass. Yeah. So Vitali says, live from Mogadishu, I've gone native. I've embraced the whole caboodle and changed my name to Aldona Al Kebab. So there you go. Okay, Sveta says a lane is usually long and narrow. That's it. It's small as well. It's not very big. So, let's go. Yes, to leave behind a trail, definitely for learn. You leave behind a trail. Yeah? If you trail something behind you, you drag it behind you. And that leaves a trail, something that can be followed. Okay, this is very interesting. But many of the world's largest cities are deeply anchored in the mouths of deltas and coastal plains, says Zalasiewicz. And they're diminishing, falling, dropping, plunging, subsiding. Deltas sink. That's what deltas do. So, good evening, Sahil. Good evening, Miss Mard as well. So with this, you need to think about what's the word for land when it sinks. And this is the answer. So we've got dropping for Count, we've got subsiding for Leffy, subsiding for Vitali, subsiding for Maria, plunging for Oppa. Does trail have anything to do with trail? No, that's trial. That's trial. T-R-I-A-L. I think it's a trial version for you to try. Plunging for Oksana, and diminishing for Patricia, diminishing for Learn, plunging for Laurie. And they are plunging, says Manuel. Good evening, Manu. Oksana says not plunging, that's too abrupt. Subsiding. SNP goes for plunging. Penny Lane's an earworm for me now. I love that word, earworm. An earworm is a tune that you get in your head and you just can't get it out. Dropping, says Renyard. And great to have you from Tenerife. So what does land do? So to diminish means to get less. Yeah, so I don't know, my energy is diminishing, the intensity is diminishing, the enthusiasm is diminishing. Falling, numbers fall, but fall has the idea of moving with gravity at accelerating at 9.81 meters per second. Dropping is like falling. Although a number can fall or a figure can fall. To plunge means to go down, but the problem with plunge, as Oksana said, is plunging is very abrupt, it's very fast. Trail be bigger than a lane? I think normally a lane is bigger than a trail, Valentine. Yeah? I think a lane is something people walk down. A trail could just be footprints in the grass. Your house has subsidence, says Leffy. Oh no. If you've got subsidence in your house, Leffy, they won't give you a mortgage. Okay. So, diminishing for Sveta. Patricia goes for subsiding. The law of dim returns. Okay, I love it. Miss Marda goes for subsiding. Hattie's gone for subsiding. The utility of your car is diminishing. Yes, and the value of your car is diminishing as well. I guess you could say the value is diminishing, is falling, is dropping. Here, a plunging neckline goes down a long way at the front. He plunged into the water. Here. Here. The fastest lane, in the fast lane. Yeah, but a lane, a carriageway. So, land subsides. Yeah, subsidence of land. This land subsides. This is to go down reasonably slowly. Something maybe goes up and then it subsides. To subside is quite slowly and particularly used for land, in geology, things like that. Stock prices can also plunge. Notice, if stock prices plunge, if they subside, they go down slowly. Yeah, so to subside is much faster than to plunge, to fall or to drop. Yeah, okay. In many cases, human activity is massively hastening, booming, galloping, leaping this process. So we've got, your passion is diminishing. That's one of the problems with passion, isn't it, Patricia? Okay, so we've got hastening for Leffy, for Vitali, for Count, for Maria Lazard, for Learn, Oksana. For Julia Richmond, good evening, hastening for Julia Richmond. Oppa goes for hastening, so does SMP, and so does Laurie, and so does Patricia, and so does Renyard. Good evening, Manji, great to have you, and Haddy goes for hastening as well, and so does Ma. Okay. Okay, so... And Manji goes for hastening, and so does Sveta, and so does Yeva as well. Okay, so we've got this adjective, haste, which means speed. And very often with verbs, we add an e. To make a verb, you take the adjective and add n, hasten. Let's see, business is booming. Yeah, particularly business, the economy is booming. Galloping means to go fast very forward. A horse gallops. Yeah? His English is galloping forward. Leap. To leap is another word for to jump as well. Okay. And Manu says, in many cases, human activity is massively hastening this process. Passion is growing stronger. Wow. Okay, post-haste, I love it. Yes, is hastening, is forwarding this process post-haste. Hastening. Yeah, to hasten, to make somebody something go faster. Good evening, Melem. Great to have you. Okay, so to hasten. Is there any way I can hasten this process? Melem goes for hastening as well. That's brilliant. You see, you're a wonderful, wonderful lot. You get all of the answers. Okay, so to hasten, to make something go faster, to make it progress faster. I think Patricia said he's probably in love, or was it Manji said he's probably in love, or he's got something better to do. I'm sure VG will be back. Human activity is booming massively. Yes. But is booming massively, but that means the human activity is increasing, and to boom doesn't mean something goes faster. To make something go faster. It means something is just going faster. So, since 1900, Shanghai has sunk by 2.5 meters due to groundwater extraction, and the weight of its buildings pressing into sloppy, squelchy, slimy, muddy, marshy ground, added to which is sea level sea level rise, which could exceed a metre by 2100. So Vitali goes for marshy, Leffy goes for marshy, Oppa goes for muddy, Oksana goes for marshy, Count Beauty goes for marshy, Maria Lazard goes for sloppy. To cause to happen, no, Haddy. To cause, hasten, to cause to happen more rapidly. Yeah, nothing else. It doesn't say good or bad, Haddy. It says just to make something go faster, to push something faster. Marshy for mangy. Urging, bolstering. Urging, normally to urge is when somebody's saying, come on, do it, you can do it, is pushing it forward. Bolstering. I guess you could just about use bolstering. I'm not very happy because bolstering is normally supporting something to stop it falling down. And I think the city needs bolstering. Yes, he's probably found a better teacher. That's a good thing, Leffy. So Manu goes marshy, Malem goes marshy, Patricia goes muddy or marshy. Manuel says muddy is option B. Marshy or muddy, says Julia Richmond. Muddy for Valentine, marshy for SNP, and the same for Renyard and Haddy and Laurie, and slimy is for Sveta, a slimy slug, for Patricia, a sloppy Joe. We can join mud and marshy. Mar goes for marshy. Okay, so marshy is more general. Mud is just a mixture of earth and water. Yeah, and ground may be marshy but not necessarily muddy. I think both marshy and muddy fit. Diminish is probably a more average speed for learn. Okay, pressing into the mud, says Manuel. Good evening, Slipknot goes for muddy. Okay, sloppy means very liquid. To slop around, slop, slop, slop. So, yeah, for example, let's try something. Yes, I had a plastic bag with 6 bottles of beer in it, but and a bag of flour, and I broke one of the bottles of beer, and there was this sloppy slop, slop, slop thing, mess in the bottom. Sloppy means liquid. Yeah, slops are the food left over after you've finished, but sloppy, very liquid or bad quality. Squelchy is the sound that you make when you walk through mud. Squelch. Slimy, it means it's got a layer of something liquid and oily and unpleasant on the outside. As Patricia said, a slimy snail or a slimy slug. I think both muddy and marshy fit. But I think marshy is definitely better. So Patricia says, sometimes I'm sloppily attired. Okay, but not paying attention to detail. Marshy for Maha. And sloppy Joes, they're a bit liquid. Sloppy outfield. Okay, with lots of water. Onomatopoeia. Squelchy. And sloppy. Slop, slop, slop. Squelch, squelch, squelch. Slimy, muddy and marshy. But it's marshy ground. Yeah? Okay, marshy means it's soft and things subside into it very easily. Okay? So, I think marshy ground is muddy. But maybe it's got something else maybe it's got a lot of sand in it as well. And a mixture of sand and water is definitely not muddy. Okay, but even without sea level rise, says Zalasiewicz, it would be intransigent, obstinate, strict, inexorable, because the subsidence is steady. Okay, and here, marshy, boggy. I like that word boggy. yet very definitely for learn. Soft ground. I was sloppy mood. That doesn't work. Let's see. Sloppy work, Manuel. Yeah? Sloppily dressed. Yeah, without attention to detail, we use it. So, we've got some answers. We've got inexorable for Vitali, for Patricia. Yeah. Want. A habit. Cephalopod. Well, a want is a habit. Inexorable for Oppa. Intransigent for Lethe. Paula for inexorable. Malem for inexorable. Intransigent for Count Beauty. So let me read it again. But even without sea level rise, says Zalasiewicz, it would be intransigent, obstinate, strict, inexorable, because the subsidence is steady. Inexorable for Manji as well. So, Lethe, where do we use this word intransigent? Inexorable, says Manuel Gordillo. Which is the noun? It would be... all of these are nouns. All of these are nouns. No, are they? No. They're all adjectives, aren't they? Yeah. And they're all adjectives. Sorry, they're not nouns. None of these are nouns. It would be adjective. They're all adjectives. Laurie goes for inexorable. Reynard go for inexorable. So what do we use intransigent to mean? Where do we use intransigent? Where do we use strict? So SMP goes for inexorable. Yeah, they're adjectives. Quite right, Laurie. Okay, I'm sure you're going to give me an answer. So, for example, it would be inevitable. Yes. Someone who always says no is intransigent. Yeah. Impossible to prevent. Inexorable. Yes. Okay. Inexorable subsidence. Somebody is intransigent. Intransigent describes people. Strict describes people or rules. Yeah? Obstinate, again, describes people. Intransigent is stubborn. Yeah, that's a good one. Inexorable. Something that's inexorable, you can't stop it. It goes on and on and on. Yeah? And you say no and it just walks over you. It's a good word, Oksana. Inexorable means relentless. That's a very good definition. I like it, Vitali. So, inexorable. Unstoppable. Inexorable, yes. So something that's inexorable is something that you can't stop. Yeah. That's it. That's fine. That's a good use, Manuel. That's intransigent. Yeah? Yeah? Easy for Italian because it's of Latin origin. Inexorable in Spanish and intransigente. Yeah, they both work very easily. Yeah. Somebody who doesn't see the other person's point of view are intransigent. Inexorable, unstoppable, an unstoppable force. Dogged, determined, bullish, unstoppable, inexorable, good. Slipknot. What about a particular structure? Shanghai Tower weighs 850,000 tons. A 632 metre tall steel framework, scaffolding, hull, bones, with more than 20,000 panes of glass and 6,000 cubic metres of concrete. How will it fossilise? Inexorable, relentless, deafening mad. Obdurate is intransigent. Yes? Okay, I love it. So, let's see. We've got framework for Count, for Vitali, for Valentine, for Manji, for Paula, framework for Maria Lazard, resolute. Resolute. That's quite good because that's sort of between inexorable and sorry about this, people. I'll be with you in 1 second. Okay, so let's go on. Okay, framework for Maria Lazard, framework for Opa, framework for Yeva, framework for scaffolding for SMP, framework for Julia Richmond. Somebody who's on strike is intransigent. That's a great example. Yeah? A framework for Patricia, framework for Oksana, framework for Hadi, framework for Laurie, for Renyard, scaffolding for Sveta. Yeah. And 7 months gone. I love it. Scaffolding is when you build or renovate the house facade. That's the idea, Sveta. Originally, the scaffold was the platform and the thing which they used to make to execute people by hanging or for execution. A framework for Maha and the same for Slipknot. Framework for Manuel and framework for Mahipal. Immutable, unchangeable. That's immutable, slightly different, Slipknot. Okay, so the bones are the framework of your body. The hull is the outside part of a ship. Yeah, the metal outside or the wooden outside is the hull. The scaffolding is this structure that you put over on the outside of a building when you restore it. Scaffolding is on the outside, yeah? No, it's the framework. I'm sorry, Manuel, scaffolding doesn't work. Okay, scaffolding, andamiaje. Okay, but this is a framework. Yeah, the framework is something that you build on. Scaffold was a gibbet, a gallows. That's very good, Slipknot. I love those two words. Yeah, it's the place of execution. The scaffold was normally at Hyde Park Corner. Steel scaffolding. Okay, the scaffolding. The scaffolding's for the builders, absolutely. Hull is watertight. Body of a ship, the watertight body of a ship, and better if it's double or triple hulled if it's a tanker. Skeleton would work in this case. A steel skeleton. Yeah, in this case skeleton. It's why I couldn't use it. Okay, we've got An and Thee now. Let's say Shanghai will behave as Amsterdam and parts of A, Thee, zero article, A and the Mississippi Delta are behaving now, where sediment is pouring in, says Z. You will get progressive changes over thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions and tens of millions of years. Okay. You were a building worker, so we've got the for Count, Valentine, Maria Lazard, Vitali, Paula, Laurie, Opa, Sveta, Renyard, Patricia, Mahipal, Julia Richmond, SMP, Leffy, Manji, and Manuel and Yeva. Lone Wolf. Okay, so framework. Soroya, yes, framework's the right one. The framework is the right one. The for Slipknot as well. I think we're going to have one of these An and These where everybody has got the right answer. So, how many Mississippi deltas are there? How many of these are there? How many Mississippi deltas are there? You see, I said the wrong thing. There is only one, and therefore it's got to be the. Particularly, so the river, the Mississippi River, the River Thames, yeah, the River Rhine, the Mekong Delta. The goes with delta because there's normally only one of them. So I'm sorry, Mad, it's got to be the. There's only one Mississippi Delta, and normally it's the something delta. Nothing could stand up a million years. Well, a rock could, yeah, but no, buildings and man-made constructions don't stand for a million years. Not stand up, but stand, Manuel. The Mississippi Delta, yes, because there's only one of them. The Yangtze Delta, for example. Okay? Yes, Lake Erie, Lake Michigan, absolutely. But with deltas, it is, Renyard, okay? And Maha goes for the as well. Okay, so, I'm trying to think of another delta. Ah, yes, the Guadalquivir Delta, very definitely. It's the last part of the river, it's where it comes out. Yeah? Okay, so like other wealthy cities, Shanghai will be hardly, vigorously, vitally, not vitally, vitally, exuberantly defended against sea level rise. But climate feedback loops mean that oceans will creep upwards for centuries to come. Okay, so we've got vigorously for Vitali, for Oksana, for Count, for Yeva, for Paula, for Patricia, for Oppa, the Dnieper Delta, love it, Renyard. Yeah, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta. Vigorously for Julia. Yeah. I was Delta bad hand, very good pun, Leffy. Vigorously for Manji and for Laurie and for Renyard and for SNP. So, a feedback loop. Vigorously for Maria Lathard. A feedback loop is something increases, which means that something else increases, which means that the first thing increases again. So it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. You know, with feedback in sound, if I could put my microphone, well, there's no sound that comes out of this, but if you put the microphone near the speaker, you'll get this beep sound, and that's feedback. Okay, and okay, Manuel goes for vigorously, and Hadi for vigorously. Hardly ever do I have lunch. Yeah, when you hide a microphone to a speaker, hold a microphone. So, notice Manu, when you start a sentence with hardly ever do I have lunch at 12 o'clock. Okay, vigorously for Mahipal as well. So hardly, almost not, no. Vigorously, with vigor, with strength. Vitally. I think this is something that is of life or death importance. Repeat something in a loop, feedback loop. That's good, Paula. And exuberantly, with enthusiasm and happiness. Yeah? So if you're exuberant, you're really happy about something. I feel really exuberant, really positive today. Yeah? So with exuberantly would be with great positivity. Okay, good evening, Habib. Great to have you. Okay, so a feedback loop. It goes round and round, but this is going to be defended vigorously. Dodgy. Dodgy means uncertain, not very good. So climate feedback loops. It means the weather gets hotter, so more ice in the Antarctic melts. Yeah, so there's more flooding, which means that the weather gets hotter, and it's one thing affects another thing, which affects the first thing. It goes round in a circle. This is a vicious circle, mad. Yeah, climate feedback loops. Okay. Feedback loops are so annoying, Manuel. Hey, like $1 million. There you go, Patricia. Exuberantly, with enthusiasm. Yes, Sveta, very good indeed. When water does become unmanageable, there will be a slow defection, abdication, walkout, abandonment, with the wealthiest leaving first. This one's more difficult. So we've got walkout for Count Beauty, abandonment for Vitali, Oksana and Yeva, like a domino effect, but sort of, but in a circle, which makes it go faster and faster. Like a back and forth circuit without ending. That's your feedback loop. Yes, Manuel. Julia Richmond goes for abandonment. Walkout for Maria Lazar. Paula goes for abandonment. Manji for abandonment. Great to have you, my life. Ha. Oppa goes for abandonment. Patricia for abandonment. Mahipal for abandonment. Ha. Between walkout and abandonment. Ha. SMP goes for abdication. Domino effect is different. Okay, Vishal, my vocabulary is as hard as I can make it. Ha. So Renyard goes for abandonment, Laurie goes for abandonment, Julia Richmond says walkout is something rapid and sudden. Yes, but in what circumstances? What is a walkout? Hadi goes for abandonment, Vitali for abandonment, Leffy says defection. Leffy's suggesting that VG's defected to another teacher. Patricia's now wondering about walkout. A slow abandonment. No Count Beauty, abandonment can be countable. It can be countable. Abdication for a king in politics, absolutely. Abdication for of your duty. King Edward VIII abdicated from the British throne. To abdicate is to renounce the throne. King Juan Carlos abdicated in Spain. To an abdication of duties when you don't do your duty. Exodus would be a really good synonym, Renyard. A defection is when you change from one side to another. Yeah, is when you are a traitor. Yeah, you could defect, a politician who could defect from one party to another. To defect talks about going from one side to another. Vishal goes for abandonment. Staff could walk out. Thank you, Vitali. A walkout of staff. This is where everyone present in a place, they suddenly all leave as a protest. So all of the students in the school held a walkout. They all left. A walkout, particularly in a place of work. The trade union leader says, everybody out, and that's a walkout. Okay, so a walkout, it's like an event where people leave. A slow decline in population. Abandonment's Manuel's B option. Yeah. A delegation could walk out in a conference. Thank you, Vitali. I love it. In the peace conference, there was a walkout by one of the groups on one side. Yeah, everybody leaves. They refuse to continue to take part in the process. Okay, and that's the problem. It's not a walkout. It's got to be abandonment. Abdication is where you are a king is in power and he leaves power. To abjure is to renounce. I abjured the drinking of alcohol, for example. Defection is talking about a turncoat. That's good, Patricia. Spies often defect. That's very good, Hadi. A workout, well, a workout then, if there's a bomb threat, there's a walkout because the boss says, no, stay at work, but everybody walks out when they're not allowed to. Okay? So, to abjure, to swear off something. Abdicate. Remember abdication of duty, when you just don't do your duty. A turncoat is somebody who changes sides, yeah? Is somebody who deserts their army and goes and joins the other side. Literally, there were soldiers, I think, in the American War of Independence. They took their jackets and turned their jackets inside out because the inside was a different colour. Walk out in protest. That's it, Hadi. Okay, Edward abdicated to marry Wallace Simpson. That's perfect, Vitali. Thank you. Okay, walk out in protest. I love it, Hadi. Thank you, Vitali and Hadi. Okay. No, we're talking about people. And the people abandon the place. They slowly but surely leave the place. Withdraw. To withdraw. Yes. There was a walkout by all of the players in the tournament. All of the players withdrew from the tournament. That would work as well. Okay, so a walkout is when people are not supposed to leave, but they walk out in protest. They leave in protest about something. Yeah? Okay. Poorer people with nowhere to go may have to adapt, tailor, revamp, design, fashion to semi-submerged conditions. Notice this too. This one's easy. I think you're going to get this one easily. To abjure. Buddha can't abdicate. You abdicate from a position of power, Vishal. Abjure. It's got to be abjure, Vishal. To abdicate is to not give away your position of power, particularly a king. So we've got adapt for Vitali, for Count, for Oppa, for Maria Lazard, for Paula, for Sveta, for Human. Good evening, Human. Adapt for SMP, adapt for Manji, for Renyard, for Oksana, for Julia Richmond. Adapt 2, says Laurie. Mad goes for adapt, Slipknot goes for adapt. And so does Hadi. So, let's see. To tailor. Poor people may have to tailor their lives, their way of living. To revamp, normally to revamp something is to make it new, make something old in good condition again. To revamp a building, particularly, to take an old building and make it better. To design their lives too, to design a new way of life appropriate for. To fashion their lives, to live. It's got to be adapt. So, turncoat, says Falern. Somebody who turns against their previous affiliation or allegiance. A defector. Perfect, Falern. Good evening, Tom K. Great to have you. And Patricia goes for adapt as well. ADAPT. To adapt to. Yeah? So, humans are very good at adapting. An apostate. But an apostate is a verb. It is a noun, not a verb. Yeah? An apostate is somebody who renounces their religion. Yeah. You want to live on a barge. It's very damp and very cold. I'm trying to remember the name of the road. I saw one for sale for about a couple of years ago for about 30,000 Leffy with a with a mooring. Let's see. Cheney Walk. If you want to live on a barge, Leffy, look up Cheney Walk in Chelsea. That's where you can live on a barge. Okay, so okay, so to adapt to. Over several hundred years, the upper levels of Shanghai Tower will decay as wind and water fret, gnaw, erode, dissolve, wear away them. A fifth columnist, that's a defector, a traitor. So, Quisling, yes, a Quisling was definitely a turncoat. I love it. Okay. Poof. Abjuration, I'm not sure for learn. I would say abjuration, but I wouldn't use it as a noun. Okay, so erode for count, erode for Leffy, for Oppa, for learn, for Oksana, for Vitali, for Sveta, for Maria Lassad, for Manji, for Valentine, for Tom K, for Julia. Erode or wear away for Human. What's wrong with wear away them? What's wrong with wear away them? Okay, adapt, says Maha for the previous one. Erode for SMP for Yeva. To tailor to somebody's needs. To tailor something to somebody's needs. That's it, Patricia. Laurie goes for erode, to adjust to the current situation. To adapt. That's it, Hadi. Erode for Renyard. To eat away. That's very good. I like eat. But notice. There's a mistake with wear away them. That's not quite it. So what about the grammar with eat away for learn? Erode for Manuel. The worst of the heat wave's over, Malak. Yeah? It's been down to about 33 today, which is much better. Okay, erode for Slipknot. To cater to. Yes. That would work in the previous one, Patricia. Yes, it would probably take you a month to sell to work. Go to Cheney Walk. I've been on barges in Cheney Walk. They're a really good place to have a party, Leffy. Okay, erode for Mad. Wear them away. Thank you, Oksana. Human, wear them away. Yes, that's the point. Yes, wear away. Eat away, both of these are inseparable. Wear something away for, says Vitali as well. Mad goes for erode. Okay. Is it only separable? Yes, it's only separable for learn. Erode for Hadi. Gnaw at them. Yes, I like that, Oksana. Gnaw at. So to gnaw at, a dog gnaws at a bone. Yeah, to bite away at. To fret. Normally to fret is to worry about something, but fret can also talk about two things when they rub together and they slowly wear down. But this is two things rubbing together. Yeah, as Vitali says, the pronoun goes between where and away. Not always, because sometimes that doesn't work, but 90% are separable like that, Laurie. Yeah, gnaw is for a dog and a bone. Wear them down. That works, Tom K. Wear away, eat away. Wear, eat, ha. To eat away, inseparable. Okay, that's wonderful. I love it, for learn. You've been listening to my videos. Yeah, they would wear away. They would do this continually. That's very good. To eat away slowly and inexorably. Gnaw. To gnaw, it means to bite at. A dog gnaws a bone. Yeah? Okay. To disintegrate them. It's definitely to erode. Yes, a mouse gnaws the cheese. Absolutely, Manu. Okay, so to disintegrate. But the right word is erode. Very definitely. Okay, so to erode something. Yeah? Okay, notice the pronunciation. Words normally beginning with GN, the G is silent. Okay? So, yes, a problem has been gnawing, biting back at the back of my mind. Yes, Manuel, rodents tend to gnaw at things. Notice the word a rodent. Yeah? To gnaw at Slipknot. Yeah. Okay, so perhaps they'll be weakened too by magpies, scavengers, removers, jackals, beachcombers, harvesting valuable materials. Okay, so this is talking about people coming and taking away anything that they might find useful. Okay. Fret for a guitar, the frets on a guitar, the different lines. So, let's see. Oksana goes for scavengers, Count Beauty goes for beachcombers, scavengers for SMP for learn, Tom K, beachcombers for Vitali. Yeah, scavengers for Laurie, looters for Valentine. To loot means to steal. Yeah, to steal things, and normally looting is when there's violence. Scavengers for Oppa. Magpies may take something as well. Scavengers for Maria Lassard. Okay, acid eats things away. Yeah, tomb raiders. Scavengers, says Renyard. Scavengers, says Julia Richmond. They'll be weakened by scavengers, says Manuel. Yeah. Nibbling hard at bait. Yeah. Nibbling. To nibble is to eat a little bit of. Yeah. To gnaw away at. To nibble is just to eat a little bit of something. Magpies, says Leffy. Okay, that we've got quite a selection of this. So, let's see. A jackal. A jackal is an animal. I'm thinking of the book The Day of the Jackal. A jackal is an opportunist. Haddy goes for scavengers. Beachcombers for Slipknot. Okay, a magpie is somebody who hoards things, who keeps lots and lots of things that seem to be useless. Human goes for beachcombers as well. A remover is definitely not a remover. Okay, a beachcomber is somebody who walks along the beach, and when they find something interesting, they keep it. But in this case, a scavenger. A scavenger is normally an animal that looks for dead things to eat. But to scavenge, we use this particularly for materials. Vultures are scavengers. That's very good. Yes, looting during a war. So, a beachcomber. I think beachcombers might work. Beachcombers just walk along the beach looking for things, seeing if they can see things. But scavengers are much more opportunist. And I think here they're ripping things out. Yeah? The magpie is this black and white bird. 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a bird never to be told, 8's a wish, 9's a kiss, and 10's the bird you cannot miss. And that's the magpie rhyme. Let's see, scavengers are far more active than beachcombers. Scavengers eat carrion, and scavengers rip things out of dead buildings. The beachcomber is just going to pick something up if they find it on the ground, but the scavenger is going to pick up everything that a beachcomber might go, and then they're going to pull out the electric wire. Yeah, and in this case it's definitely a scavenger. Scavengers. Harvesting, yep. They're harvesting, very definitely. Yeah. A jackal is an animal. Yeah, it's a jackal is a scavenger. It's an animal that you will find in Africa and India. Yeah. To comb the beach, to comb means to look through something. So I was combing my memory. The police combed the building, looked through every place in the building for evidence. Okay, to comb, to go through in minute detail, to look at everything, every possible little thing. So they're looking everywhere, and this is the meaning of to comb. Yeah, to look everywhere in small detail. Yeah, Leffy and his repartees, but Leffy's great at repartee. I love Leffy's repartee. Yeah, I'm a beachcomber. Yeah. The dog is a little scav. A scavenger. I see. SCAV. Thank you. ENGERS. Thank you, Slipknot. Okay, so a scavenger. Scavengers are much more active. Okay, so let's try the next one. Oh, the next one's reasonably easy. Yeah, so scavengers, they could be beachcombers, but I think scavengers, they're much, much more active. Good evening, Firndaz. Unfortunately, we've only got a couple of minutes to go. So, yes, a scavenger. Yeah, vultures can be pretty aggressive, thinking about it. Repartee, clever talk, clever phrases, banter. To lambast, to criticize very strongly. The boss lambasted me for my mistake. So when you have coffee with your co-workers, yeah, or a break, there's repartee, funny conversation, funny comments, clever comments. That's repartee, Renyard. Yeah. The repartee at a dinner party. Yeah, people making clever, funny comments. To tell off, to lambast, that's good, Slipknot. So, if the lowest levels have managed to remain above water, only the bottom 1 or 2 stories, levels, will remain standing, surrounded by a rubble, slag, scum, bits, litter, layer of fallen debris. So we've got rubble for Count, for Oppa, for Vitali, for Human, for Paula, for Oksana. Firndaz goes for leftovers. I want to know where you find slag and where you find scum. Okay. Rubble for Paula, for Oksana. Okay. And let's see. Repartee, I'm glad you like it. So, SMP goes for rubble. Oksana says, yep. Huh. Yes, but this is a noun construction. A layer. They are all nouns. None of them are adjectives. Huh. Rubble for Renyard. Rubble for Firndaz. Rubble for Manuel. You repartee because the first party wasn't good enough. That's a perfect example of Leffy's repartee. The first party wasn't good enough, so you re-party. Okay, rubble for Manji. It's been a pleasure, Vitali. Haddy goes for rubble, a rubble layer for Laurie, Barney Rubble. Yeah, Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble. A slag heap after mining. Very good, Count. I love it. Rubble for Patricia, rubble for Ma. Scum is dirt. Very good, Valentine. Slag heap. That's it, Count. Slag is a waste material. Slag during the smelting of iron. Thank you, SMP. Yeah, slag is when you melt iron, you have slag. It's like a scum floating on the surface, and this has got all the impurities, and you take off the slag. Yeah, you can have a slag heap from a mine, the waste material. That's really good. Scum, if you're really dirty and you have a bath, there's this layer of nasty thing floating on the top. That's scum. Woof. Unfortunate repartee. I don't know, repartee that offends someone. Here. Scum. This is this thing floating on the top of a liquid. Rubbles for Sveta. Only the bottom 1 or 2 stories will remain. We're talking about a building. Yes, we're talking about the Shanghai Tower, Manu. Witty verbal exchanges. Here. These are your kinds of words. Scum. The lowest level of society. This bloke is scum. A slag. A slag is to slag somebody off, to insult them. A slag. Have you ever read a magazine called Viz, where they have 2 characters called the Fat Slags? A slag, a woman of loose morals. Litter talks about rubbish. A scumbag, a gossip monger. Huh. Smelting copper. Yes, you're going to get slag from smelting copper. Stories is floor. I live in a 2-story house. Notice, 2-story house. This is noun, noun, noun construction. No S's, Manu. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so, yeah. Scum. He's the scum of the earth. So, it can only be rubble. Rubble talk about broken bricks, broken building. Yeah, rubble is the debris from a building. The flotsam and jetsam. Okay, those are the bits in the sea. That's, well, the beachcomber is looking for the flotsam and the jetsam. Fat slags from the Vids comic. Very good, Slipknot. If you're easily offended, don't read the Fat Slags. But I think Viz is actually a very funny magazine. A lot of it is Geordie. Dirty dregs. Scum. Huh. The defector is scum. That's very good. Yeah, there was a film about kids in Borstal called Scum. That was very violent as well. Okay. We all love VG. It's okay. So, the answer was rubble. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to stop. You've been a brilliant group. Rubble and debris are similar. Rubble normally talks about broken bricks and cement and rocks. Debris is more general. For example, you could have debris on the floor of a forest, which is from the falling leaves, or the things that are falling from the bottom. Yeah? Okay, and that's the idea of debris. Debris is more general. Rubble is talking about things. So, I'm going to give you an ad break for a second. Let's try this. Yeah. Okay, so thank you all for coming. It's been brilliant to have you.